I'm back in the kitchen today and I'm going to be sharing with you my recipe for granola. And I started making granola a few years ago just because of the high priced granola in the grocery store, and it didn't even actually taste very good. So the recipe that I'm going to use today starts with old-fashioned oats, and then I add a couple of different nuts, some seeds, some coconut, and I use some oil and maple syrup. And then I also flavor it up with some vanilla and cinnamon. And I use a couple of egg whites just to help it form into clusters. And I'll post the full recipe at the end of this video. So let's get started and I'll show you how I make it. The first thing I'm going to do is separate my egg yolk from the egg white. And I really hope this works. And I like to put it into a little measuring cup so that in case I get some egg yolk in there. And I'll just add that to my smaller bowl. There's one. Do my second one. Almost lost it there. Oop, and I got a shell in there, but that's okay. I'll just fish it out. And then add that to my bowl. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my wire whisk and whisk this egg white up. And I just do it till it gets a little bit frothy. I'm using 1/3 cup of oil, and I'm using this coconut avocado oil. And it is kind of messy. And then I also need my maple syrup, and I'll just go ahead and pour it up to the 2/3 mark. And this doesn't have to be exact, and after you make it, if you want it a little sweeter, you can obviously add more. So I'll add this to my egg whites. I'll use my spatula to get all of it out of there. Next, I'll add my 2 teaspoons of vanilla. 1 and 2. I'll whisk all my wet ingredients together. That looks good. I'll set that aside, and now we'll put together the dry ingredients. I'm using 4 cups of old-fashioned oats. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'll add my coconut, and I've pre-measured here about 1 cup of coconut. And this is sweetened coconut. And I have some chopped up walnuts. And I'm going to add about a heaping 1/2 cup here. And I'm going to add the same amount of almonds. These are just sliced almonds. Again, about a heaping 1/2 cup. And you can add more nuts based on how you like your granola. Next, I'll add my seeds. And I use different types of seeds. Today I'm going to use these chia seeds. And I'm going to use about 1/2 cup. And I don't know if the camera can see, but I'm just going to nestle my measuring cup right in there. and pour the seeds into my measuring cup. That way if any spills, it just goes right in the bowl. And I'll add a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm going to use a heaping teaspoon actually. And then using my rubber spatula, mix those all together. And I usually put in here sunflower seeds, but I actually could not find any the last time I went to the store, and I've run out, so I'm just going to use the chia seeds today. That looks good. Now I'll add my wet ingredients to my dry. Just pour it all in there. Probably getting the bowl right in front of the camera. And again, I like to use my rubber spatula. Combine these the best I can. I think that's pretty well combined. And now I will put it in my baking sheet, and I've just lined this baking sheet with parchment paper. Now some of the granola will go on to the pan, but that's okay. And I don't think this is all gonna fit on here. So I'll actually use a couple of baking sheets, but for the video I'll just show you the one. And you want it into a single layer. That looks pretty good. And again, I'll use the rest of my granola and I'll put it on a separate baking sheet, and I can actually bake them at the same time. And I'll just smush it down. And now I'm ready to put it in my oven, my preheated 275-degree oven. Alright, it's been baking for 50 minutes, 50. It looks beautifully browned. So this would be the point where you would add your raisins or your craisins or whatever you like. I'm going to leave mine plain today because I'm really not a fan of raisins in my granola. And it's, again, baked for about 50 minutes, and you can see it does stay in clusters. And I would just store it in my glass container. And another good reason to use parchment is you can use it to dump the end of your granola in your jar. My very favorite way to eat this granola is like cereal with milk and bananas. Sometimes I add strawberries. And it's also great over yogurt, and I do gift this sometimes at Christmas. And I like this recipe too because you can really tailor make it to your own taste. You can add different nuts, seeds, and you can add your raisins or chocolate chips even at the end. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.